In 1763, during the Spanish colonial period in the Philippines, a revolt broke out in the Ilocos region, led by Diego Silang, a man who dared to challenge Spanish authority and fight for the rights of his people. Under Spanish rule, many Filipinos experienced heavy taxation, forced labor, and unfair treatment by colonial officials. These abuses created growing resentment among the local population. Diego Silang, witnessing the suffering of his fellow Filipinos, began organizing resistance against the Spanish control. Silang gained the support of local communities and successfully took control of parts of Ilocos. His leadership weakened Spanish authority in the region, as he attempted to establish a government that represented the interests of the people rather than the colonial rulers. However, Spanish authorities sought to stop the uprising. They relied not only on military power, but also on local collaboration. Two of Silang's associates, Miguel Bicos and Pedro Becbec, betrayed him. On May 28, 1763, they shot and killed Diego Silang in Bigan, bringing his leadership to a sudden end. Although his death weakened the revolt, it did not completely end the resistance. The movement continued under the leadership of his wife, Gabriela Silang, who stepped forward to continue the fight for independence and justice. Gabriela Silang gathered the remaining rebel forces and retreated to the mountains of Abra, where they regrouped and continued their resistance. She became the first Filipina to lead an armed revolt against Spanish colonial rule. Despite limited resources and increasing opposition, she remained committed to continuing the struggle her husband had begun. Despite her continued leadership, Gabriela Silang was eventually captured by the Spanish forces. Her capture marked a turning point, as the remaining resistance gradually lost its strength without a central leader to guide them. On September 20, 1763, she was publicly executed in Bigan. Reports say she was made to witness the execution of some of her followers before her own death, emphasizing the harsh punishment imposed by the colonial authorities. With her execution, the organized Ilocos revolt came to an end, and Spanish control over the region was fully re-established. Although the Ilocos revolt did not succeed in achieving independence, its importance in Philippine history cannot be overlooked. It demonstrated that resistance against colonial rule existed even in regional areas outside of major uprisings. The revolt showed how Filipinos, despite limited resources and challenges, were willing to stand against injustice and fight for their rights. Diego Silang's leadership represented early political resistance, while Gabriela Silang's continuation of the movement highlighted determination and resilience, especially as she became the first Filipina to lead the revolt against Spanish rule. Their story continues to serve as a symbol of bravery and nationalism. Today, their legacy is remembered as part of the broader history of Filipino struggle for freedom. Their actions, though ending in defeat, contributed to the growing awareness of resistance that would later influence larger movements in Philippine history.